So yeah, we're not moving.
The internet.
Yeah, the internet has made bandwagon, activists, and that's not a great thing. Back then, they were real activists. Everybody was a part of it. It was a real movement. It was, but now you have people who are wishy-washy, are doing it just because. So we can take incidents that may not belong to Black Lives Matter and group it into Black Lives Matter and group it all in and say, hey, this is the reason why we should all be upset, and keep that going and keep that pressure and that aggravation going.
Because,
so it's a different entity.
Some people will want to keep that as Alton Sterling wasn't complying. It was black, because that family got over might be $1 million now on GoFund. I mean, that's gonna be the new scam. Goddamn, you get $1 million or almost. I think it's $700,000.
Yeah, and there were two different accounts. There were two different accounts.
So maybe it's up to $1 million now. Did you know about that?
No, I didn't know.
I mean, they got a nice little picture sitting up there with all their kids and all that.
I didn't know about that. But I really do think that if he would have did what he was asked, I really think that the turnout would have been totally different. I think he'd have still been here.
I agree.
I do think what happened, it outraged the cops, and I really don't think it's a thing for Black Lives Matter. I don't think so.
So what do y'all think about these people who they can see that the man was standing, he didn't not have his hand raised when you look at the videotape. He's saying
I'm just saying what happened. I just want to make sure that we understand that we got to take responsibility for ourselves as people out here and for our actions.
So even though we see, what I'm saying is even though on the videotape we see that he was still standing up, and most officers, when they stop you and they want to put you in handcuffs, what do they say?
And we found out homeboy was tased. Remember that?
Yeah, we found out that he was tased, but they ask you to keep your hands up. They ask you to put your hands behind your back. They ask you to turn around. They give you several directives. But we as black people, maybe y'all won't agree, we see this and we see that he wasn't being compliant. We see that he was standing up. He wasn't in any formation that would have been a directive of an officer in that situation. But we still want to say that he was jumped and he shouldn't have been done like that.
And
we still want to jump on the bandwagon and say that this is a Black Lives Matter. We don't want to be accountable that he was not compliant.
I think you said it. We don't want to be accountable that he was not compliant.
And he wasn't. So
you believe that?
It was obvious. I mean, if he had been tased, this man was still
standing.
And then not only that, the part of the tape was called. He actually he was fighting. You see a huge black man fighting with two cops.
And Chris, you said it. The part of the tape that was caught, the part of the video that was caught. You know what I'm saying? So you don't even see everything going on.
Yeah, but you do see the officer who was standing up. There were two officers, and then one officer just rushed him.
That's the part you see. Yeah. You don't see the beginning of that though.
Where he could have been
maybe what was the cause of the rushing? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all I'm saying. You don't see the whole thing.
You don't see the whole thing. Okay, so y'all don't think that this should have been a Black Lives Matter situation based off of what you do see?
I don't feel like it. I don't feel like this in this case right here. I don't feel like.
I agree with Chris. I don't really think that was a black thing.
I think he was just non-compliant.
They was ready. They was ready, and they jumped on whatever they could get on. You know.
And he was non-compliant. Although. I don't think that him being non-compliant should have took his life, but
exactly. I don't agree. I don't think you're right. I don't think it should have took his life.
But
they could have. And plus, I think I read something or whatever that those two cops were new. You get what I'm saying? They hadn't been on the force that long. Probably been on the force maybe 5 or 6 years or 3 or 4 years. And now they're saying how they're going to put a more senior officer with a new. You can't have 2 rookies or 2 newlies. Trying to stop people.
Which should have been common sense.
You know what I mean? And so that's what I'm saying. Both sides need to. We got a lot of work to do. And this ain't gonna change overnight.
Okay.
And we really need to own up to our wrongdoings when we, when we out of line, and not to say that it deserves, it's not to say that our lives should be taken.
No, it don't deserve death, but you're gonna get some type of. You're going to get some kind of negative action from that. You get what I'm saying?
So would y'all be surprised if the cops were not indicted in that situation, considering that based off of him not complying, and you know that the rule is.
I would be surprised if they didn't get any type of punishment because they were rookies, and you know they did shoot the dude 5 or 6, 7 times.
Well, you know, I've heard from several officers. I have a cousin who's an officer, and I spoke to 2 other officers who they don't know each other, and they all said that when you have a threat, or if there's a person who's not being compliant, and then there's a fear. First of all, they said that, can you shoot a gun through your pocket? And the truth is that, yeah, you can shoot a gun through your pocket. You don't know if it's going to ricochet or anything. That was a new light on the matter that I did not think about. And they said, but once they said that there was a gun, and the guy he did have his hand near his pocket, so you don't know. They said that when all of them said the same thing, and they didn't know each other, that you shoot the threat until the threat is over. It's done.
Well, I think they need to change that law, and I think you need to cut this off because Bernie Sanders is talking.
Okay.
What Bernie talking about?